Again, some reminders. Assign letters to represent the alleles. Capital letter for the dominant allele, lowercase letter for the recessive. Read the problem thoroughly. Solve the problem using a Punnett square. Do not forget a key, the genotypes of the parents, your work, answering the question that is asked, and circling the questions, the final answers. Sex-linked traits. What we want you to understand is this involves genes on the X sex chromosome. These traits are only on the X chromosome. Therefore, females are the only ones who can be heterozygous for the trait, which we also call a carrier. This was first discovered in the early 1900s by Thomas Hunt Morgan by studying fruit flies. Fruit flies are very easy to study the sex-linked traits. Most sex-linked genes are recessive, which means it only takes one gene from the mother to give the male offspring the mutant trait. Females need two genes, one from each parent, to have the mutant trait. Remember, due to X inactivation, some females do show more symptoms than others when they are a carrier. Carrier females who carry a recessive allele, do not have the recessive phenotype. In other words, they do not typically have the disorder. They are also heterozygous. As you can see, we will show sex-linked traits on the X chromosome, either homozygous dominant, heterozygous. Here the male is unaffected. Here we have a recessive female who is affected and a recessive male who is affected. Why do males tend to have recessive sex-linked diseases more than females? Remember, this is because sex-linked diseases and disorders are only on the X chromosome. Males only have one chromosome. Therefore, if they do get the disorder or disease-linked trait, they have it. They do not have another X with the potential to mask or help out with those symptoms. A woman heterozygous for hemophilia. Again, remember we make our key. This time we're using the X chromosome. Capital H, lower h. She's getting two X's because she's a female and she's heterozygous. Marries a normal male. So that would be an X with a capital H and a Y. What are these persons' genotypes? Can they have male children with hemophilia? How about female children with the disease? One thing you've probably already noticed was I forgot to make my key. X capital H is normal. X lowercase h, hemophilia. We'll do our Punnett square. And you will notice we've done the person's genotypes here. Second question asks, can they have male children with hemophilia? And the answer is yes. 50% male will have hemophilia. And the answer for females is no, 0% female with hemophilia. We'll circle our answers. We also need to circle our parent genotypes. And we are finished. Baldness is a recessive sex-linked trait. which means X capital B is normal, X lowercase b is bald. Cross a carrier female, which is X big V, X little b, carriers are heterozygous, with a bald male, X little b, Y. What percentage of the daughters will be bald? You'll notice 50% of the daughters are bald. What percentage of children will be bald? Again, if we look, we will have 50% of the children are bald. Here is our 50% of the females. Here is 50% of the children, the two that are circled. And we'll circle our final answer.